Greetings puppets, FiOth here, and in this video I'm gonna explain the when a pulse cell is discharged criteria in the P organ menu. Some of you might have seen those upgrades in the P organ menu and have been scratching your heads thinking, what the hell are those things doing? On this build that I'm running right now, I have every single one of them upgrade for one tier, the very first tier, the first phase. So I ran some tests. First and foremost, when you discharge a cell, nothing happens. How do I know this? On the top left, just below the Fable bar, there are no new tooltips, and if I open my menu, I see that my damage is 223 plus 94. This was the first thing I double checked, because my initial idea was maybe you don't get a tooltip, but you might get increased numbers in the menu, just like in the Souls games. So I discharged the cell and the numbers were exactly the same, nothing changed, nothing whatsoever. So I started thinking, if I'm not seeing any numbers, it's probably not happening. And I tried to attack enemies and take damage from enemies right after discharging a cell, but nothing changed pretty much. When you take or deliver damage, the numbers are always a bit iffy because it counts counter attacks and distance and ideal weapon length and all that. It's very hard to pinpoint. What I managed to test though is tied to stamina. I'm gonna demonstrate exactly the perks I am using, and then I'm gonna explain the test I ran and the results I got. So we're in the P organ menu, and as you can see here, I have unlocked enhanced weapon attack when discharged, lower damage when discharged, and lower stamina consumption when discharged. As I explained, when discharging a pulse, nothing happened. I started thinking, if it is not when one pulse is discharged, what if every single one of them is discharged? And I started checking my numbers again. As I said, I'm looking at 223 plus 94 physical attack. I discharge all my cells, and it's exactly the same, nothing happens. For some reason, the numbers are lying. And I'm gonna explain what I did. I'm not gonna show it to you because it looks very stupid and I have to have a timer on the screen and all that. But what I did, I started running, I ran towards a wall, and I timed the duration of my sprint based on my bar, as you see it on the top left. Of course, I didn't do it in the hotel, I did it in an arena because in the hotel you have infinite stamina. I did 3 tests, and out of 3, I was able to approximately sprint for 12.5 seconds on this bar. Then I discharged all my cells, and I was able to sprint for 15 seconds out of 3 tries. What that tells me is you get a constant buff that does not show in the menus for some obscene reason when you are totally out of cells. So you're getting the same numbers, as you see them here. My defenses and my damage are all the same, but in effect, you're hitting harder, take reduced damage, and consume less stamina than you would if you had even a single cell left. What does that tell us? If you recharge a cell by perfectly blocking or dealing damage to the enemy, you lose those buffs. You have to discharge that cell to be back at 0, and then you get the buffs again. It veers towards the glass cannon mentality, or if you want to play hitless, where you leave yourself without any healing, maybe use an item that benefits you when you're low health, and go to do as much damage as possible without getting any retaliation in the face. It's not ideal when you want to play normally, and it's definitely not ideal when you want to play for the first time, because as you probably understand, if you're left with 1 health bar, that's it. You have to play perfectly so you don't die. If you want to avoid getting to the point where you don't have any healing, you have to play better, and playing better would mean that you go for better staggers, go for higher damage, and so on and so forth. Not a last-ditch effort approach to what you have available. Because when I respect for the first time, I thought I am going to put these buffs, as you can see here, attack and defense went into this, for example. My idea was make a build where I would discharge a cell to heal, and for like 5, 10, 15 seconds I'd have buffs on me and go ham on the enemy. But apparently it doesn't work like that at all, and I wasted a respec. I'll have to go, pay the fruit, respec again. My suggestion is ignore this unless you're going for a glass cannon build, unless you go with an all or nothing mentality, because it's great hindrance above everything else. You don't want to get to that state where you're pretty much in a do or die situation, and it's worded in a way that makes you think that you're getting buffed when you're using a cell, whilst you're only getting buffed if you're out of cells, and that sucks. So you don't have to suffer like I have. I hope you found this useful. I'd appreciate you sub, like, and hit the bell. I'm gonna cover as much stuff as I can in Lies of P. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!